No company is perfect. New hires have to work for 1,820 hours. I guess trying to figure out the difference between a chicken leg and a thigh.
42 workers are permanent out of over 500.
That's correct. As long as they involved and people getting on field, we hanging out.
We're not asking people to pick up fire range for the Barbados Workers Union. So I know you guys have been seeing the Barbados Workers Union's Recipe for Respect campaign, a lot of work we've been doing with KFC. We wanted to break down what we were talking about a little bit more so you get a better understanding of everything we've been speaking about. So I'm so thankful that our Deputy Director of Industrial Relations, Kamisha Benjamin, has some time for us. So Kamisha, tell us all about this campaign.
Sure, Shane. So the KFC campaign is birthed out of years and years of dialogue with the company to no avail, right? Negotiation after negotiation, conversation after conversation, letter after letter, and literally it's almost as though the company just does not care. At least that is how I categorize it. KFC seems to be a company that is built on exploiting the labor of the workers. And I don't say that lightly. No company is perfect, and I don't expect that by any means. But a company that can have over 500 workers, and those workers are required to work for in excess of a year and 4 months before being considered full-time.
Wait, a year and 4 months working before. Okay, so that's like your training program. You're training for
Right. So what KFC does is new hires have to work for 1,820 hours.
1,820.
I can break it down for you. But they work for 1,820 hours in training. Thereafter, they do a period of 3 months as probation. But there's the thing. You might be calculating that 1,820 on 40-hour weeks. But they're only guaranteed 27 hours.
But before we get them hours, like, all right, months, years, how long that is in months are?
It's about a year and a month.
Doing what?
Training. I guess trying to figure out the difference between a chicken leg and a thigh, a zinger and a kernel, you know.
So is that standard across the fast food?
Absolutely not. Their biggest competitor trains for a period of 3 days. But this is why I deem it to be exploitation, Shane. KFC, while you are training and under probation, you get paid the minimum wage. No matter the value of the role that you are actually working in. So I'll give you an example.
So if you got a lot of people training, you're paying them
all at the minimum. And the thing about KFC is they have a very high turnover rate. I'm sure that you see every 2 weeks or so a job fair.
That says something.
So nobody is staying beyond a year and 4 months it will take for you to get the correct.
So you keep having trainees. But you mentioned that you said how many people work at the KFC?
Over 500.
So over the 500, I know because one of the things we were negotiating for is to have more people on permanently. How many of those over 500 are permanent staff?
Currently 42. There's a list that is supposed to be 51, like KFC has capped it. So even if you pass that period of probation and training, you still are not guaranteed to be a full-time employee.
42 workers are permanent out of over 500.
That's correct.
How do we get there?
I wish I could tell you. I don't know the logic. It's just KFC's business model. How can we get more out of people and give them less? These are workers, Shane. They can't afford to even go to courts and take out anything. Their lives cannot be made better by working at KFC.
Before we go into the money now and the rates and that kind of thing, because that's what I want to talk about. We have seen the comments because we know that we are speaking about this Recipe for Respect campaign. KFC has been in focus. We have seen things like, oh, the union does not go this hard with other people, or it seems that they're targeting KFC or picking on KFC. I want to ask you about that because you are one of the officers who works directly with KFC. Is the Barbados Workers Union doing anything like out of the order or out of the way picking on KFC? Anything? What is the situation?
Absolutely not. What we are trying to do is to ensure that KFC provides conditions of work that are fair and favorable for the people that work there. This is nothing that we wouldn't do for any other company that was in breach to the extent that KFC is in breach, and for the number of years that KFC has been in breach.
And I mean, personally, I just think that from outside looking in, and when I say outside looking in, I mean you guys sit at a negotiation table more than I would go in there. It seems like if it's a situation of the line when you pass Warrens, the line's gonna be long. When you pass Oysters, the place block up the line's long. So as long as people buying the chicken, I ain't gonna care about nobody. I ain't gonna care about who on staff. I ain't gonna care about how much I pay these people because people buying the chicken. It seems like that is the kind of
That's the bottom line.
the bottom line, no pun intended.
That's the bottom
So
line.
let's talk about the rates. So do the different categories of workers, do they get paid different?
They do. So I actually need to share with you how we got to the stage that we're at. KFC a few years ago made everybody redundant. So there were categories like cashiers, there were janitors, etc. They made those persons redundant and they brought them back in as something called a customer service team member. The rate for the customer service team member, once you get past the probationary period and the training period, is
1,000 hours. How much it is?
1,820 hours plus 3 months. So in essence, a year and 4 months. But once you get past that stage, the rate is $9.68 for a customer service team member. Remember, I told you they made everybody redundant. Why? I don't know, because the roles in KFC have not changed. When you walk through the doors at KFC, you will meet a cashier. You will see a cleaner. The roles have not changed, but what they did is to try to find a workaround that's cheaper for them. And the cashiers back then were paid $15.09. So you can already see how KFC is saving money at the expense of the labor.
So $15 and you say they got about how many hours?
27 hours.
27. I ain't gonna pretend to be able to count. Let me get my phone here. So if you're saying, let me open the calculator. $15.09. 9 cents, 27 hours. So about $407
That was
before. So now
the people doing the same role, because you're still dealing with cash, and don't mix matters, Shane. If you cash pan short, it coming out to you cash, your wages. So nothing about that has changed, except now they're paying you less.
This is the 850.
850.
So the 850.
850 until you pass the probationary period,
but
and then $9.
The way how things going, and nobody ain't getting to that point, right? So 850 at 27 hours is $229. So you're down from $400 and something dollars, and you're doing the same exact work. That you see, I'm glad you explained this to me, right? Because when people are saying that we picking or we singling out, and why you looking at them and not other places, this is not what we're seeing from other people, right?
Shane, I've always been passionate about justice, right? So as long as I involve and people get unfair, you can hear me more. Ain't nothing to just do with KFC. Any group in the Barbados Workers Union that I work with, and people are being unfair to this extent, you will see and hear from me. KFC knows it, the workers know it, we know it, passionate about justice.
Last year it got to this stage where prohibition notice was placed on KFC's doors. And if I'm not mistaken, people are saying that was unprecedented. These things don't happen. And everything just points to a situation that is unprecedented all around. So what I want to ask you, because people, as I said, people think that we're picking on them or something. What do we want from these relationships with KFC? If we could wipe the slate clean, let everyone know what it is Barbados Workers Union really wants.
We want that the workers at KFC have good working conditions. We want fair wages. We want safe working environment. The issue the other day where the workers were being transported home at that time, those workers finished work at midnight, Cheyne. And it was after 2 that this incident happened. This is not for a lack of the Barbados Workers Union warning the company that you putting people's lives at risk.
I want you to go into that. I want you, because I want people to understand what the workers have been saying. Paint the picture of is midnight, you finish working, and you gotta wait another 2 hours before somebody can take you home. So what these young ladies have been saying?
Right. So in the past, KFC had various vans that they hired to take the workers home because after a certain time the bus will not run. In another attempt to secure the bottom line, they done away with that. They ain't dealing with that no more. They came up with a bright idea. We could use our delivery cars. The problem is the deliveries run until basically the time the store ends. They then have to come back. It's oftentimes more than 4 workers waiting to be transported home. So some will go, some have to wait until the same delivery car comes back. So you could finish work at 12 and be getting home 3-4 o'clock. And we have seen, because this was the last incident. Prior to that, about a month before that, there was an incident at Fairchild Street where the supervisor and 2 members of staff got stuck up by a gun.
And these are things that that you don't know. And what the workers are just saying is that because Tennessee law, if you're working past a certain time, the company must provide transportation, right?
Yes, and those are things that we negotiate at the union.
What are some of the reasons because you sit in negotiations and you would hear we're trying to cut back on this because we're making less money, or is the company even saying these are some of the reasons why we're making these cuts?
They come to the table and they say they're not making money, but a blind man can see shit.
What do you want Barbadians to know and to feel? We're not asking people to pick up fire range for the Barbados Workers Union.
No.
But for these young ladies, and what I want to remember is that last year when we had the situation with KFC and we were at the labor office, what a lot of people don't know, when we were there for about 15 hours straight, we saw young ladies crying because they're in a situation where they're trying to stand up for themselves and say, just as a basic human being, we demand better. And there's pressure from families at home saying you're going to lose your job if you keep standing up for your rights. But you don't just take this thing and just go work and come back home. But
keep your mouth shut.
Keep your mouth shut.
Keep your head down.
And we see the intimidation from managers and that type of thing. What do you want Barbadians to know and feel about this situation?
I just want Barbadians to understand that it's not easy for these workers to stand up. But if they can show their solidarity and their respect, send a message, do a video, let the workers know they're not alone. And the fight is not just about them, it's about Barbados. Listen, if Barbadians weren't supporting KFC in the manner that they do, KFC will have to find another alternative. Like, what else can we do? Because all we like KFC.
Like me can't eat popcorn chicken.
There we go. I want to. But at the end of the day, for me, it boils down to how am I supporting a company that can treat the workers in this way.
I think
They can do better. And they will do better if Barbadians show them we ain't dealing with that till y'all start to stand by these, do right by these workers. That's what I want Barbadians to feel. The kind of passion and justice, the need for justice for these workers.
I think that's powerful. Always speaking to you, Kamisha, always passionate, always honest. And if it's one thing that I want people to take away, that it is nothing personal. I think that is a distraction. I think it's a lie to stop people thinking about what is happening to the workers and to try to make this a Barbados Workers Union versus KFC thing. It is a Barbados Workers Union for the workers thing. Thank you so much for explaining.
Please follow us on our social media pages so that you can keep track of the campaign because it's only going to kick up from here.
Yeah.